Harry and Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media. Fascinating reporting coming from News Nation, the US news channel, and its head of entertainment, Paula Frolic, who reveals Prince William to change the monarchy forever. Prince William doubles down. According to multiple sources, it's now a matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal title.
The tension brewing inside Buckingham Palace is impossible to ignore anymore, and this latest situation has people seriously questioning just how deep the rift between Prince William and Prince Harry really goes. What started as family drama has grown into something way bigger, especially after fresh reports emerged about private conversations happening behind closed palace doors. And somehow, Meghan Markle has landed herself right back in the center of the storm. According to royal insiders and ongoing media speculation, Meghan is quietly preparing for what could become a serious battle over her royal status. The biggest concern? The possibility that her Duchess of Sussex title could come under review the moment Prince William takes the throne. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but just the conversations alone have already sent shockwaves through royal circles and blown up online. People close to the situation say Meghan has become increasingly cautious about what the future could look like for her and Harry.
Meghan just thinks she's too wonderful to be left out of it, and she will win because she'll go to court if she doesn't keep her title. I don't know, it's very hard. It's very hard to lose your title. But I do really hope that it's taken away. I mean, she's complained for over 6 years now what a terrible time she had. She was nearly wanted to kill herself. She didn't want to live. Then what trying to get back in there somewhere. Nobody wants her. She's not going to listen to anything she's been.
Even though the couple stepped away from senior royal duties years ago, their titles still pull massive public attention. Now there's growing chatter that future changes inside the monarchy could shake up those titles in ways nobody saw coming. A lot of the speculation exploded after King Charles made bold moves involving Prince Andrew. Reports say the decision to fully cut Andrew off from royal responsibilities sent a loud, clear message. The monarchy is entering a stricter, more controlled era. Royal commentators believe Prince William is expected to carry that same energy forward, especially when it comes to protecting the institution's image. That's exactly where Meghan's concerns reportedly come in. Some insiders claim she has no intention of sitting back and waiting to see what happens.
Nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour. The truth be told, what she just said is complete and utter garbage by the British media, the public and the royal family that they've all now abandoned.
And Meghan playing games that resulted in people unnecessarily questioning things. Again, every toxicity thing is result of
with either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter, and their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to sit on the throne of this country.
Princess Lilibet Diana had been christened. Why would they use a title for their children that represents an institution they loathe so?
Instead, reports suggest she's already been talking to advisors and legal experts, trying to understand how royal titles actually work and whether any real protections exist around them. Meghan herself hasn't confirmed any of this publicly, but the rumors have absolutely grabbed attention. And honestly, this whole situation feels different because Meghan has never fit the traditional royal mold. Before marrying into the family, she already carried a global profile built on Hollywood, media appearances, and charity work. That background gives her a completely different public image from anyone raised strictly within royal tradition. Some watchers believe that difference could seriously matter if tensions ever reached a boiling point, while others think the monarchy would do anything to avoid adding more public controversy to its already packed list of problems. Either way, the idea of another explosive clash involving Prince William, Prince Harry, and Meghan is already fueling non-stop debate everywhere online. The royal family has been under intense pressure from every direction. Every appearance, every statement, every family interaction gets picked apart within minutes.
First thing is that these children are being raised in some type of freak show. You know, it's like they are Michael Jackson's children who were paraded to the world but covered up in masks. Yeah, but then remember, he covered their identities and their faces in masks. You know, so of course they're very likely to be messed up, growing up with such messed up parents who are using them in such a mucked up manner. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say on the titles is that I think what Prince William is acutely aware of, and this has certainly been my reporting, is that look at what happened when you allowed to run rampant for so many years, chasing the cat.
Even the smallest rumor can spiral into a global headline almost overnight. What makes this even wilder is that Meghan and Harry still generate massive public interest no matter what they do. Whether people are riding for them or coming for them, they remain one of the most talked about couples connected to the royal family, and that's not changing anytime soon. That level of attention only adds more fuel to an already complicated situation playing out behind the scenes. What really has people buzzing is just how far this could go if tensions keep building. Some believe it's simply media speculation being blown way out of proportion, but others think the royal family may eventually be forced to make some seriously difficult decisions about titles, roles, and the future direction of the monarchy itself. Right now, nobody truly knows what conversations are happening behind closed doors. But one thing is crystal clear: the distance between Prince William and Prince Harry doesn't appear to be shrinking anytime soon.
California Birth Index, and per the website at thecaliforniabirthindex.org, the California Birth Index, or CABI, is a database that stores records of births in California, abstracts of birth certificates. Putting her full official name of Rachel Meghan Markle, you can see that the official record...
Apparently, they invited all the royals to Lilibet's christening, but they all declined to come, as if they're all going to get on a plane and fly to California to embrace the people who've been trashing them for the last 3 years. But it looks like from the jungle drums, they have been invited.
And with Meghan's name constantly getting dragged into royal headlines, this story just keeps getting messier by the day. People close to the royal situation say this whole drama is a reflection of just how determined Meghan Markle truly is. Over the years, she's faced wave after wave of criticism, media pressure, and relentless public scrutiny. But one thing most observers agree on is that she rarely folds quietly, and that reputation alone keeps the fire burning. What makes this situation even wilder is the timing. The monarchy has already been going through massive changes, and every single move from senior royals gets dissected online within seconds. So when rumors about Meghan potentially fighting for her title started spreading, they didn't just circulate, they exploded across social media and royal commentary circles almost instantly. According to reports, things got even more intense after a major palace announcement reportedly created fresh division behind the scenes. Insiders describe the atmosphere as extremely tense, with senior staff allegedly scrambling to manage the fallout before the headlines spread everywhere. Within hours,
they're legally covering their backs. There's just too many unknowns. And then, of course, we have that the doctor that allegedly delivered Lily quit her practice 2 weeks after giving birth to Lily, or delivering Lily. That sentence there is
Meghan have never provided any evidence for that highly incendiary claim.
Royal watchers were already debating what this meant for Prince William, Prince Harry, and the future of the entire family. Some commentators believe the real issue isn't just Meghan anymore. They think this is about something bigger: control over the royal image and how the monarchy wants to present itself moving forward. For years, every public appearance, interview, or family disagreement involving Harry and Meghan has generated global attention. And according to royal insiders, that ongoing spotlight has reportedly created serious frustration deep inside palace circles. There's also speculation that private meetings took place shortly before the announcement, reportedly involving Prince William, King Charles, and Catherine. Nobody outside the palace knows exactly what was said, But several reports claim there were strong disagreements about just how firm the royal family should be going forward. One detail that really caught attention was how carefully timed the statement appeared to be. Some media analysts pointed out that the release happened at a very specific moment, one that allowed palace representatives to shape early coverage before reactions fully exploded online. That move led many people to believe the entire strategy was planned with serious precision behind closed doors. And honestly, that's where things start feeling way more personal.
Markle gave birth to Lily, because this is what's called plausible deniability. They want to be able to say, hey, we never claimed that she was our daughter in that announcement. They're legally covering their backs. There's just too many unknowns. And then, of course, we have that the doctor that allegedly delivered Lily quit her practice 2 weeks after giving birth to Lily or delivering Lily. That sentence there is missing. That is a vital sentence that Meghan Markle chose not to put in an official statement because she knows she would get into a lot of legal trouble and she needed plausible denial.
According to people allegedly close to Prince Harry, the growing distance between the two brothers has become extremely difficult to repair, and it doesn't look like anyone is rushing to fix it. Some believe Harry felt genuinely hurt by how direct and final certain palace messaging came across. Others think both sides have simply hit a wall where rebuilding trust feels almost impossible right now. What's wild is that Prince William was once seen as the steady, calm presence inside the family, especially during some of the monarchy's most brutal public moments. He and Harry were constantly viewed as a united front after losing Princess Diana, which is exactly why this ongoing fallout still shocks so many people today. But royal commentators say years of pressure, media chaos, and relentless public drama may have slowly torn that bond apart behind closed doors. Instead of emotional reactions, many now describe William's approach as cold, calculated, and laser-focused on protecting the institution above everything else. And online, critics remain completely divided. Some think the palace has handled the situation way too harshly, while others believe the monarchy is simply trying to stop the bleeding after years of non-stop headlines surrounding family chaos. The biggest thing people keep coming back to is this: the relationship between Prince William and Prince Harry may never fully recover. And with Meghan Markle still sitting right at the center of every royal discussion, each new rumor only piles more pressure onto an already fractured family. So what supposedly pushed things this far? Well, depending on which royal insiders people choose to believe, there were several moments behind the scenes that reportedly changed everything. Some rumors mention private recordings from tense conversations inside palace circles. Others point toward alleged leaked messages and serious disagreements over media handling. None of these claims have been officially confirmed, but they've absolutely poured more drama into an already overflowing situation. According to people close to the royal family,
the royal watchers were complaining that they felt like her posts on social media where she barely shows the kids is almost taunting the king, who doesn't know these children, and how unfair
Now they want to give their kids the titles of prince and princess, even though they don't live anywhere near the royal family. They don't do any duties. They do nothing to deserve it. They live in a mansion in Montecito in California and use their own royal titles to make loads of...
Prince William eventually shifted his focus away from defending individual family members and moved entirely toward protecting the monarchy itself. One royal commentator described it as years of pressure finally hitting a breaking point, and honestly, that seems to be the real issue here. Not one single argument, but layers of tension stacking up over time. But then things reportedly took an even stranger turn once conversations about finances and private arrangements started entering the picture. Several reports claimed that reviewers looking into broader royal matters began noticing unusual financial details connected to entities and accounts spread across multiple countries. Suddenly, what looked like standard palace drama started sounding way more complicated. According to ongoing speculation, some of these financial structures allegedly involved offshore companies and layered ownership systems specifically designed for privacy. Experts who commented on the reports described the setup as extremely difficult to track, with multiple businesses and trusts appearing connected through different international locations. Now, a lot of this remains based on media claims and online discussion, not confirmed public findings. But the reports alone were enough to spark serious curiosity about what was really going on behind closed doors. One detail that reportedly caught major attention involved a relatively small payment connected to a private medical facility in the United States. On its own, the transaction didn't appear significant, but according to commentators,
Duchess of Sussex, no longer HRH, was safely delivered of a son, and she and her child are both doing well. So back to the tradition of putting out a framed bulletin or a gilded easel outside Buckingham Palace after royal births has been going on since 1837, so it's a cool tradition. And George, Charlotte, and Louis' easels listed the doctors' names with signatures, birth weight and time, and referenced the royal.
Internal reviewers allegedly became interested because of who the payment may have been linked to and how it connected to wider timelines already under review. From there, speculation reportedly expanded into conversations about travel records, legal agreements, and financial documentation tied to earlier events involving the Sussexes. People following the story online began frantically piecing together different rumors, trying to figure out whether the situation was being exaggerated or whether something much bigger was quietly developing behind palace walls. One of the biggest talking points involved Princess Diana's trust and how future distributions connected to Prince Harry's side of the family might be handled during any ongoing internal review. According to several royal commentators, Prince William was allegedly involved in discussions about temporarily pausing certain financial decisions until more clarity could be reached. Reports describe this as a pause rather than anything permanent, but even that idea alone created massive reactions because of what Diana's legacy means to both brothers. For Prince Harry, many believe this situation feels deeply personal. Princess Diana remains one of the strongest emotional connections the brothers share, and anything touching her legacy instantly carries enormous weight. Some commentators argued this goes way beyond royal duties or public image battles. This is raw, unresolved emotion for the entire family. And honestly, that's probably why this story keeps pulling people in.
That it just really kind of boggles the mind. I mean, just for titles, for example. So when Archie was first born, they said they didn't want him to have a title. He was going to be a private citizen. I was like, bravo, you understand. He's not going to be a working member of the royal family. He is going to have to live a normal life, get a normal job. That is fantastic. And then it came out later in the Oprah Winfrey interview. Well, they denied him a title and security because he is a mixed race child. And then it was kind of...
It's not just about titles, money, or palace strategy anymore. It's about years of built-up tension, damaged trust, and two brothers who once seemed completely inseparable, now appearing further apart than ever. Nobody outside the royal family truly knows what's happening behind those closed doors, but the energy coming out of the palace says everything. There are endless rumors, non-stop media theories, and constant online debates. But one thing remains clear: the situation surrounding Prince William, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle has grown way beyond a simple family disagreement, and every new report only adds another explosive layer to the chaos. By this point, the entire situation had transformed into something far bigger than regular royal drama. Rumors about finances, questions surrounding Princess Diana's trust, and rising tension inside the palace were all colliding at the same time. But according to royal insiders, one moment behind closed doors changed the atmosphere more than anything else. A quiet conversation between Prince William and Prince Harry that reportedly revealed just how far apart the brothers had truly drifted. People close to the family say the emotional connection between them isn't completely gone, and honestly, that makes the whole situation even harder to watch. This isn't a story about two people who simply stopped caring. According to several commentators, the real issue is years of pressure.
Case about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump. The fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over even if Harry and Meghan right now are earning their own money, that well is drying up. You've got to take the ability for them to damage the royal family in the future away. And you've got to do that now. You've got to do it swiftly.
Misunderstandings, media chaos, and deep unresolved hurt slowly stacking up over time. Reports claim the brothers recently had a brief phone conversation, but by all accounts, it stayed cold and extremely guarded. Sources describe both men as carefully choosing every single word, almost as if they no longer fully trusted where private conversations might end up. And that detail alone says everything about how tense things have become. What makes it even harder for long-time royal watchers is remembering just how close William and Harry once were. For years, they were viewed as completely inseparable, especially after losing Princess Diana. Old interviews, public appearances, and shared family moments made people genuinely believe these two would always have each other's backs, no matter what. But now, many feel that bond has been buried under years of very public fallout and relentless media attention. At the same time, reports suggested Prince William was quietly preparing a major public statement connected to ongoing royal discussions. According to insiders, the message wasn't meant to sound emotional or aggressive. Instead, it was allegedly crafted to reinforce stability, tradition, and the monarchy's long-term direction. One royal commentator described the tone as firm but controlled, focused entirely on protecting the institution rather than targeting specific individuals. Still, many believe any public move involving Harry and Meghan automatically becomes deeply personal, whether that's the intention or not. But then everything shifted again when leaked travel reports suddenly started circulating online. People noticed claims that Prince Harry had quietly arrived back in the UK through RAF Northolt instead of a regular public airport. That detail instantly grabbed massive attention because that airfield is typically associated with high-security government and royal movements, not casual arrivals. According to reports, Harry was allegedly travelling with Archie and Lilibet, and online,
never pregnant at all. Instead, the videos embolden conspiracy theorists, calling it Megspiracy, and the pair are being subjected to yet more merciless ridicule.
They decide, okay, well, we have to come out and show the baby in some way, but we're not coming out to the street. The filthy masses are not going to have anything to do with our kid. So then they show up, and there's Meghan in her white dress with Harry, and he's holding this completely still baby.
People immediately described it as a massive moment, considering how rarely the children have been seen in Britain in recent years. Almost instantly, social media exploded with theories, reactions, and a flood of questions about why this trip was happening now, of all times. One detail people noticed right away was that Meghan Markle reportedly didn't appear anywhere on the leaked travel information. That absence alone sparked a whole new wave of speculation, with commentators debating whether the visit was connected to private family discussions, royal strategy, or something far more personal. Witnesses reportedly described several black vehicles waiting near the runway alongside senior palace officials, making the arrival feel way more serious than a casual family visit. Royal watchers immediately started wondering whether emergency meetings were taking place behind the scenes. And then came the moment that really lit up headlines everywhere. According to reports, Harry stepped off the plane looking exhausted and emotionally drained after months of relentless pressure surrounding the royal family. Commentators noticed he avoided any public gestures and stayed completely focused on the children beside him. For many people watching this unfold, that image felt deeply symbolic, not just of royal tension, but of how intensely personal this entire situation has become. Because underneath all the headlines, rumors, and palace strategy talk, there's still a real family at the center of all this, trying to navigate years of conflict under the eyes of the entire world. Then came the moment that completely changed the tone of the story. Standing at the top of the aircraft stairs beside Prince Harry were Archie and Lilibet, clearly visible in the cold London air as cameras zoomed in from a distance. For years, the public had only caught rare glimpses of the children, so seeing them openly arriving in the UK instantly became one of the biggest talking points surrounding the royal family. And honestly,
crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes. Fewer titles mean there is less of a chance for a degenerate like Prince Andrew, now called Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, to slip through. Which means, as I previously reported, Harry and Meghan will lose their titles, as well as Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie.
That moment hit differently. Suddenly, this didn't feel like another palace argument about titles or public statements anymore. It became something far more human. Watching Harry guide his children down those steps made the entire situation feel personal instead of just political drama playing out across headlines. Royal commentators immediately began saying the children's arrival could completely shift the emotional atmosphere around everything happening behind the scenes. No matter how tense things may have become between Prince William, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle, the reality is that Archie and Lilibet are still part of the royal bloodline, and that connection carries serious emotional weight for both the family and the public. At the same time, reports continued circulating about an internal royal review tied to titles, recognition, and future royal roles. According to online speculation, senior figures inside the monarchy were supposedly weighing some very difficult decisions about how the institution should move forward during a period of constant public pressure. Some people believe the royal family could eventually shift toward a softer approach, one that allows more balance between tradition and modern family dynamics.
Like they haven't had the chance to. After all, they pumped out 6 hours of self-indulgent bilge on Netflix, trashing Britain and the press for its race.
Others argued the monarchy may continue tightening its grip on roles, responsibilities, and official recognition going forward. And that's really what this entire situation seems to come down to, not just Meghan or Harry alone, but what kind of monarchy Prince William and the next generation actually want to build for the future. Commentators also pointed out that any major decision could affect far more than just public image. Discussions surrounding Princess Diana's legacy, family relationships, and long-term trust within the royal family have all become part of the wider conversation. For many people watching online, the emotional side of this story now feels just as important, if not more important, than the institutional side. And something tells us this is far from over. Meanwhile, outside Buckingham Palace, media crews reportedly stayed on standby, waiting for any sign of a public statement or major update. Every single movement connected to the Sussexes continued generating non-stop attention, proving once again that this family drama still has the entire world completely gripped years later. But beneath all the speculation, leaks, and palace tension, one question still hangs over everything. Can Prince William and Prince Harry ever truly rebuild the bond they once had? Or has the damage between them simply gone too far this time? At this point, it's not just about royal titles or palace decisions anymore. It's about whether two brothers who once stood side by side through some of the most painful moments imaginable can ever find their way back to each other after years of tension.
This Netflix series, released to the world this morning, is packed with, well, not really revelations, are they? It's sort of rehashed old revelations with a new twist. As it turns out, we've apparently been wrong all along. Britain is a nasty, racist hellhole where only magnificent Meghan stood up to all this, and the world's biggest victim.
Distance and relentless public drama. Some people believe time could eventually heal things behind the scenes. Others think the gap between Harry's life in California and William's future at the heart of the monarchy has simply become too wide to cross. And with Meghan Markle still sitting at the center of so many headlines, it's clear this story is nowhere near finished. What makes this situation even harder to process is the history behind it all. These aren't just two public figures caught up in institutional politics, they're brothers who grew up sharing some of the most extraordinary and painful experiences any two people could go through together. Losing Princess Diana at such young ages created a bond that the entire world witnessed and felt deeply. For years, that shared grief seemed unbreakable. People genuinely believed nothing could ever fully pull William and Harry apart. But royal commentators now say that same shared history may actually be part of what makes the current fallout cut so deep. When two people have been through that much together, disappointment hits differently. Trust, once broken between people who were once that close, doesn't just repair itself overnight, and according to insiders, that's exactly where things stand right now behind palace walls. The public has watched this situation unfold across years of interviews, statements, and media appearances. From Harry and Meghan's decision to step back from senior royal duties, to explosive interviews that sent shockwaves across the globe, to ongoing speculation about titles, finances, and private conversations, every chapter of this story has felt bigger than the last. And somehow, it keeps finding new ways to escalate. Royal watchers have pointed out that the longer this situation drags on without any real resolution, the harder it becomes for either side to make the first move. Pride, public positioning, and institutional pressure all create invisible walls that are extremely difficult to break through, especially when every private conversation risks becoming tomorrow's headline. According to people allegedly close to both brothers, there have been moments where reconciliation felt genuinely possible.
If she wants to do anything politically in America, which is on and off with her, isn't it? She can't do it with the title. So what's she worried about? Just drop out, but she won't, because she's so determined to get her own back. And that it needs someone strong like William who's going to absolutely push it through.
I absolutely.
Result of the bizarre conduct of a cheap hustler and her dope of a husband is entirely unnecessary and should be cleared up. There is no justifiable reason why the British public should have to put up with a doubtful situation when it has been generally accepted practice since 1688 that all royal births should be publicly attested so that there can be no question as to the entitlement of an infant to his or her place in the line of succession.
Small gestures, brief communications, and shared family events have occasionally created tiny windows of hope. But according to those same sources, something always seems to pull things back into tension before any real progress can be made. And that cycle of almost healing followed by fresh distance is reportedly one of the most painful parts of the entire situation for those watching it up close. What's also worth noting is how differently the two brothers have chosen to handle their pain publicly. Prince William has largely stayed quiet, letting palace representatives speak on his behalf while maintaining a composed and institutional front. Prince Harry, on the other hand, has been far more open, sharing his perspective through interviews, a memoir, and various public appearances that gave the world a very direct look into how he experienced life inside the royal family. That difference in approach has created its own layer of tension. Some people believe Harry's public openness was necessary and brave. Others feel it made private healing almost impossible by turning deeply personal matters into global conversation topics. Either way, the contrast between the two brothers' public styles has made finding common ground feel increasingly complicated. And then there's Meghan. No matter what angle people approach this story from, her presence in the narrative remains undeniable. Supporters argue she has been unfairly blamed for a family breakdown that had much deeper roots long before she ever entered the picture. Critics claim her influence reshaped Harry's relationship with the royal family in ways that proved impossible to reverse. But what everyone seems to agree on is that Meghan Markle is not a passive figure in any of this. She is sharp, strategic, and deeply invested in how this story ultimately gets told. Royal commentators have noted that Meghan's background in entertainment gave her a unique understanding of media, narrative, and public perception.
So you can't really put them into the Buckingham Palace and say, look, if you feel like doing any work, do it. And if you don't, don't, because that's not going to be a way that Harry doesn't mind that, which is extraordinary. But it's not a way to do that. And I think if they're going to school and you leave them there with a title, Prince and Princess, they're going to get bullied.
That most royals simply don't have. That skill set has allowed her and Harry to operate with a level of independence that the palace reportedly finds both frustrating and difficult to manage. And as long as they continue building their own platform and public identity outside the monarchy, the tension between both worlds is unlikely to fade anytime soon. Meanwhile, King Charles remains a central but complicated figure in all of this. As the reigning monarch and father to both William and Harry, his position requires balancing deep personal emotion with the demands of running one of the world's most watched institutions. Reports suggest King Charles has privately expressed a desire to maintain some level of connection with Harry and his family, but the practical realities of palace politics and public perception make that an incredibly delicate situation to navigate. Some royal insiders believe King Charles genuinely hopes the family can find a path towards some form of peace before too much more time passes. Others think the institutional machinery around the monarchy makes personal reconciliation almost secondary to managing public image and maintaining stability. Either way, his role in whatever happens next will be absolutely critical. There's also the question of what happens when Prince William eventually takes the throne. That transition, whenever it comes, will force a new set of decisions about roles, titles, and the overall shape of the monarchy moving forward. Decisions that could directly impact Harry and Meghan in ways that go far beyond current speculation. Some believe William becoming king could actually create an unexpected opportunity for the brothers to reset their relationship under new circumstances. Others think it will simply add more pressure to an already strained dynamic. And what about the children? Archie and Lilibet continue growing up largely away from the royal spotlight, raised in California, far from the institution their father was born into. Their connection to the royal family exists in bloodline and title, but their lived experience is worlds apart from any previous generation of royals. How that gap eventually gets navigated, whether through reconnection, distance, or something entirely new, remains one of the most genuinely unknown parts of this entire story. For many people watching online, it's the human side of all this that keeps pulling them back in. Strip away the palaces, the titles, the media strategies, and the institutional politics, and what remains is a family dealing with real pain, real misunderstandings, and real consequences that continue rippling outward. That kind of story resonates because it reflects something universal, even if the circumstances are anything but ordinary. Every new appearance, rumor, and royal update keeps adding another layer to a family situation. The whole world simply cannot stop watching. The drama is real, the emotions run deep, and the stakes keep getting higher with every passing month. Nobody outside those palace walls truly knows how this story ends. Maybe time does its work quietly and something shifts behind the scenes in ways the public never fully sees. Maybe the distance becomes permanent and both sides simply build separate futures. Or maybe, just maybe, there's a moment coming that nobody has predicted yet, one that changes everything in an instant, the way only real life can. But right now, all eyes remain locked on the royal family, on every move, every silence, and every carefully worded statement that comes out of the palace. Because when it comes to Prince William, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle, nothing ever stays quiet for long, and the next chapter of this story could drop at any moment. But now we want to hear from you. Do you think Harry and William will ever fully reconnect, or is this royal fallout permanent? Do you think Meghan is the real force driving everything forward, or has this breakdown always been bigger than any one person? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this conversation is just getting started. If you are riding with us for more royal drama and celebrity updates, smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to see it, and make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a thing. And do not sleep on the next video showing on your screen right now because trust us, that story gets even crazier. See you there.